From the main man's scheduling issues derailing the production of Season 5, Part 2, to Taylor Sheridan potentially canceling the show to spite him. Here's why Yellowstone hates Kevin Costner. For starters, the star may have derailed the production of Season 5, Part 2 because of his terrible schedule. When you have a big-shot star like Kevin Costner working for your show, it comes with some pretty big downsides. In this case, Yellowstone had to undergo a bunch of delays and behind-the-scenes issues because of how overbooked Kevin Costner was. While working on the second half of the show's 5th season, the star decided it'd be a good idea to work on his other film series, Horizon. Obviously, this meant that he had to compromise on his duties on the set of Yellowstone. According to one report, the star asked for his time on set to be reduced to just a single week. That was for shooting the entire second half of Season 5. Now, I don't know about you, but that sounds pretty impossible, especially when you consider that Kevin's character, John Dutton, is about as important as you can get. The rest of the production wasn't happy with Kevin because of the kind of attitude he had towards Yellowstone's production. Sure, he's got his own project he wants to work on, but that shouldn't come at the expense of the work he's already signed up for, right? It shows a lack of respect for the production and his co-stars. As it turns out, Taylor Sheridan, the showrunner of Yellowstone, was not having it. I guess he got tired of Costner's terrible attitude. Because of this, the situation behind the scenes got a bit heated between the two.
I'm saying no more collateral damage, you understand me? We don't kill sheep, we kill wolves.
It didn't help that at this time there were also rumors coming out claiming that the whole show may be ending. As you may already know, these turned out to be true. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that there was some serious beef between these two. If an amazing and popular show like Yellowstone gets canceled because they couldn't take the time to stop fighting, then they probably hated each other way too much. According to some other rumors, Costner didn't like the way he was treated on set by some of the production team. It seems that everyone working there had grown to hate the guy. In fact, the star mentioned that he felt like people on set had a bit of a god complex, and they didn't treat him professionally. It gets worse. Apparently, Costner was told to stick to acting by Taylor Sheridan. This was after the actor suggested a change to one of the scenes on the show. The showrunner, clearly not happy with Costner assuming a huge role in the production side of things, asked him to step down a peg. Kevin didn't take this very well. If you know the guy, he's one of those actors who loves to be involved in the production. He's gotten into trouble with some other directors in the past for this very reason. Though in this case, he may have been a bit more justified in suggesting changes, since he's the executive producer of Yellowstone after all. Not some B-list actor trying to act superior. But hey, when you work with a genius like Taylor Sheridan, you've got to learn to stay out of his lane. He's got a plan of his own that probably stretches across who knows how many spin-offs. When Kevin started suggesting things be changed, it probably messed with Sheridan's plan and made him angry. Either way, the two could have squashed the beef and moved on. But instead, they decided to call it quits, which gave the Yellowstone crew another big reason to hate on Kevin. Because in their eyes, Costner is basically responsible for getting the show canceled. Before all this drama took place, if you were to ask anyone if they thought the series would end up getting canceled like this, they would have said absolutely not. Yellowstone is widely loved by tons of fans and viewers. Fans were ready to see how the Dutton storyline unraveled over the course of multiple more seasons. So, the fact that it's all going to be wrapped up in a rushed way is going to be disappointing. It's not only the fans who are unhappy. I'm guessing a lot of Costner's co-stars are also angry at him. After all, if he'd kept his head down and worked on set instead of causing trouble for Sheridan and the production, the stars would have still had a job. One of his co-stars, Josh Lucas, thought that they didn't need Kevin for the show to continue. Josh told E! A few months ago that he believes Sheridan will come up with a bunch of exciting new storylines that can keep the show afloat, even without Costner's involvement. But that's not all. The star also said that Costner wasn't necessarily needed for the show's future, because characters like Beth and Rip are just as good, if not even better, to carry the storyline forward. Sheesh, talk about disrespect. It seems like his co-stars didn't feel like he was as essential to the show as he thought. But that's not the only reason they hate him. It turns out that Costner may not even return for the final few episodes. Can you imagine the writers somehow wrapping up the ending, which is already going to be super rushed, without the lead star in the picture? It's not going to happen.
And from now on, or else it's all you get.
After the star practically got the show canceled, you'd think that he'd at least find the time to shoot the final couple of episodes. But nope. Apparently, it's not even a problem with the schedule now. Instead, he's worried that the writers won't give his character a good enough ending. They may end up killing him off or turning him into some kind of punchline for an ironic joke. Who knows? Honestly, with how much beef there is between him and the writers, I wouldn't be surprised if they really did this. But hey, it's not like Costner hasn't given them reasons not to hate him. He's caused so many issues for the production and has refused to come back to work. It's clearly not an issue of scheduling now. The star has continued to book even more gigs. You know how he couldn't show up to Yellowstone because he was so overbooked? Well, during all that drama, Kevin agreed to not only host, but also serve as an executive producer on a new documentary being made by the History Channel. You want to know the cherry on top? It's a documentary based on the Wild West. So he basically quit Yellowstone to work on a documentary that covers the same theme. Talk about adding insult to injury. You may be thinking that a documentary may not take as much time to shoot, but keep in mind that it's going to be 8 episodes long. Since he's a producer, it's very likely that Costner will have a lot more duties behind the scenes. All that makes it clear that Kevin didn't leave Yellowstone because of a scheduling conflict. The star wanted to exit the show entirely, and he didn't care how it affected the rest of his cast or the showrunner. No wonder Sheridan completely hates his guts. In fact, Taylor may have ended Yellowstone out of spite because of it. A lot of people were wondering why the series was canceled. Sure, Costner may have left, but Sheridan has the skills needed to explain John Dutton's exit and continue adding more storylines for other characters. But if you ask me, Sheridan wanted to put the Costner era of Yellowstone behind him. He felt that the best way to do that would be to end the series entirely and start fresh. You may have heard that there's a new Yellowstone expansion coming out, which is going to star Matthew McConaughey. Sheridan may put all of his energy and effort into this new series, making it the new main show to replace Yellowstone. Plus, it's possible that he may bring along some of the main cast members from the original show. This is to make sure that the good old series fans have come to love, except we won't have Kevin's muddy history murking things up. It'd be a proper fresh start for the franchise, and they'd be able to continue forward without Costner's looming shadow disrupting things. I don't know if the fans would be too happy with this, but I'm sure if the new series delivers the same quality they've come to expect, then they may forget Costner overnight. So from Taylor Sheridan potentially canceling the show just to spite the star, to the leading man's scheduling issues derailing the production of Season 5, Part 2. Those were all the reasons why Yellowstone hates Kevin Costner.